SeaWorld Orlando is known for some world-class coasters and marine life, but are its rides worth diving into? Let's see which ones make a splash and which ones should be left out to dry. Let's start with one of their newest coasters, not the newest because I haven't been on that one yet, but let's start with Pipeline Surf Coaster. Now this is a B&M stand-up coaster, and typically stand-up coasters get a bad rap, right? They are not the most comfortable thing. I wasn't a fan of Shockwave at Drayton Manor. Did not like it, very, very uncomfortable. This, on the other hand, complete opposite. This is a modern take on a standing coaster, super, super comfortable, a load of fun. The seats are kind of suspended, so you kind of bounce up and down, your feet come off the floor. It is just so much fun, and unsurprisingly, we're going to start really strong and keep this coaster. Now, another coaster that caught me off guard is Manta. Now, this is their B&M flying coaster. Again, think Galactica here at Alton Towers. The challenge there is that was the prototype and they didn't really know how far they could push the boundaries. Let me tell you, with Manta, they certainly pushed them because I almost grayed out. That inversion, that loop, is really, really intense. Tons and tons of fun, fantastic coaster, and well, that's another one I'm going to add to the keep pile. Right, this park clearly loves Bolliger and Mabillard because the next one is also a B&M, and that is Kraken. Personally, I'm not sure I would say it is Kraken, but the ride is called Kraken, and it's their floorless model. Now, it's a decent ride, don't get me wrong. It is a good coaster. I don't think it lives up to the other ones that I've already mentioned. Those I think are fantastic. This one, it's good, don't get me wrong, but it is not anything special. So for this one, listen, you know I don't like scrapping coasters, so I'll put this one in take it or leave it because I don't think it's one of their best. Right, there's a bunch of attractions here that unfortunately I have not experienced. Now, in some cases that is they were not finished being constructed when I was there. In others, they just weren't running. And one of those is Icebreaker. And I really wanted to get on Icebreaker. It's a coaster obviously, so I wanted the credit. I've already said I try and avoid scrapping coasters. So I'm definitely not going to do that. The thing is, I've heard mixed reviews about this one, and it seems that there was some weird stuff about comfort collar and changing the height restrictions and stuff. It seems to be getting mixed reviews. So because I've not been on it, I don't want to be too optimistic and say that this is a fantastic coaster. So I'm going to put this one in take it or leave it, but I would love to know your thoughts on this and indeed the other ones that I haven't experienced, and to let me know whether you would keep them or scrap them. Right, so one coaster that I have been on, multiple times in fact, because I really enjoyed it, is Mako. Now that is their hyper coaster, giga coaster, it's their tall coaster. It's the big one that just does a ton of airtime hills, and your backside is barely in the seat. And I think that is fantastic. This park is kind of mixed with theming. There's some places where you can go, oh, that's some nice theming, and there's other bits where you're like, did you forget? This is one of them, right? I mean, the ride's kind of hidden. It's sort of, you can see the entrance to it and that looks okay, and then it's kind of tucked away at the back of the park. You just go and do this out and back. But it is full of airtime and it is a lot of fun. I did a POV in the front and I also did the back row. The back row is mental. You are properly out that seat for most of it, and it's those kind of little clamshell restraints, which I'm pretty sure is another B&M. Kind of think this park should just be renamed B&M, but anyway, I absolutely love this one. So this one is definitely going in my keep pile. Right, so this next one is also B&M, but this is one of the ones that was nearly complete when I last visited, so unfortunately I haven't experienced it, and that is Penguin Trek. Now, this is their family coaster, and it kind of again, this looks good on paper, right? It looks like a nice little family coaster. The problem with it, from what I've heard, because as I say, I haven't experienced it myself, is that, as with a lot of B&Ms at the moment, it has that rattle. Now, it's a brand new coaster, and it's a kid's coaster, family coaster, it's not quite proper junior coaster, and apparently it's got this rattle. So listen, I'm gonna give this one, I'm gonna put this one in the middle and say take it or leave it, because I get the impression it's not all that. But again, I haven't experienced it firsthand, so if you have, please let me know down below what you think. Right, they've got some water rides as well, and one of those is Infinity Falls. Now that is their river rapids, and it's okay. Listen, it's in Florida. Florida gets ridiculously hot. You want to cool down. A water ride is usually a good thing. I didn't go on it the last time I was there simply because the queue was massive, because everybody else had the same idea. It was stinking hot and they all wanted to chill out and cool down. But I have been on it before and it was okay. Listen, it's got this kind of, like, goes up and then there's quite a decent drop. And then, you know, it is a rapids ride thereafter. So nothing overly special. but definitely has a purpose because, as I said, you are in Florida and you are likely to be sweating. So I'm going to put this one in take it or leave it just because it didn't really blow me away. In terms of like rapids, it wasn't up there as one of my favourites, but as I say, it has a place. And then there is, of course, another water ride. Now, unfortunately, this is one that I have not experienced. I clearly picked a really bad day to go to this park. I've been twice, but the last one was just not the best. And that is Journey to Atlantis. This is their kind of indoor log flume type ride. Again, haven't been on it, seen POVs of it, looks pretty good. Again, you get wet, it's Florida, it's hot, it has a purpose. So again, I'm going to put this one in the same bracket. I'm going to put it in that take it or leave it because if I've not experienced it, I can't really be overly optimistic and I also can't be too pessimistic about it. So add this one to the list that I need you to tell me down below in the comments. As always, there are a number of kids rides and most of these I'm not going to go through because I've either not been on them or shouldn't go on them, but I will mention their kids coaster because it is a credit. And now I'm going to have to read the name. This one is Super Grover's Boxcar Derby. Kids coaster, perfect for the demographic, and of course it's a cred. So I'm going to keep it. It's a coaster, I don't want to get rid of it. Right, there's one final ride here that I'm going to touch on, and I'm not actually going to rate it. So it's brand new, and a bit like others, I've obviously not experienced this one. But it's also a new take on an existing attraction, so I kind of feel it difficult to even guess where it's going to be, so therefore I'm not going to. Now if you are one of the few that have been on it already, again, please let me know, but I suspect it's very, very new and none of you will have been on it. And that is their Expedition Odyssey, which is their new Mack Flying Theatre. Now, on the face of it, you go, it's a flying theatre, Chris. What do you mean? You know, it is what it is. But the Mack technology has done something quite clever, because one of the problems with existing flying theatres is the kind of ride cycle, the offload, onload process, right? Because whilst it's in operation, there's just a queue. And then it finishes, it spins round, it offloads the guests, and then the next lot go on and da-da-da. This one's clever because this is double-sided. So whilst one group of guests are watching the show, there's another group of guests boarding behind them. And then it rotates so that the new group start watching and the previous group offload and a new group come on. So from a throughput point of view, this thing sounds fantastic. And you know, based on that alone, I would obviously put it in the kind of keep category, but that's just from it's a clever use of technology. What I don't know is what the ride experience is like, right? Is it just a standard theatre? Is it better than normal? Is it subpar? Now Mack tend to do pretty good stuff, but I haven't seen any of their screen-based attractions. I haven't been out to Europa yet, that's later in the year, so I can't really speak to the quality of their screens and how that sort of works. So yeah, as I say, I'm not going to rate this one. I'm just going to touch on it because it, for me, it's very intriguing and I'm curious to see what it's like. And well, come back out of Florida anytime soon, I might go and give it a shot. Right, now there's obviously a lot more to SeaWorld than just the attractions, right? They obviously have all the animal stuff, and I know that for many people is very controversial. There are people who won't go to the park because of that. There are people who will go just for the rides and ignore the animals. So I'm not going to touch on that because this is more of a theme park channel than that side of things. But in any case, you know, based on my own experience of these rides, they do have some fantastic coasters. Definitely some of the better ones in Florida, but they also have a few that just miss the mark. So I'd love to know your thoughts on this. Again, I'm sure as always there will be things that you agree with and there will be things that you do not. So let's get in those comments and get talking. And please, if you've experienced the rides I haven't, let me know what they're like so that when I go out there again, I know what to get on. As always, if you've enjoyed this one, make sure you hit that like button and please do consider subscribing. If you like this kind of thing, there's a whole playlist full of other parks right up here. But you need to click it.